Hello everyone, my name is Abhijit Deshpande. I am a corporate trainer and I'm here to speak to you on group discussion skills. Let's see what actually group discussion means or what group discussion is all about. Group discussion is a formal discussion which has about 10 to 12 people as participants and 1 or 2 people on the panel as judge or jury. It is a very important aspect of the selection process, especially for a lot of multinational companies nowadays, especially when they take campus interviews. What happens is, in a campus interview, you'll have about 300, 400 odd students, and it becomes very difficult for the interviewer to interview so many candidates at the same time. Also, when a company has mass recruitment happening, they will have n number of clients flowing in who will be aspiring to actually get that job. So what happens is, the company needs to shuffle these candidates to a certain number on which they can have a face-to-face interview with the following selected candidates. So that is the only reason why companies have group discussions. But we tend to take group discussions very lightly. What we look at group discussions as is an argument or as a fight or something that we see on TV shows where people actually argue, are actually standing and abusing each other because they feel that what the opposite person is saying is wrong. Whereas in a group discussion, it is very important for you to realize that it is not about arguing or putting the opposite person down or proving the opposite person that he or she is wrong, but it is just the fact that how you communicate, how do you work in a team, how clear is your thought process, and how do you respond to somebody who does not agree to what you are trying to say, right? So let's get to know what is our session objective, or what will be a lot of session objectives that we look into. 1. How do we prepare ourselves for a group discussion round? Second, what to say during a group discussion round and what not to say during a group discussion round. Next, what are the evaluators actually looking for when they conduct a group discussion round? And last but not the least is an entire thought process. Now, group discussion can be divided into 4 different categories depending on what company you are applying for. A. Factual, B. Controversial, C. Abstract, and D is case study. Again, factual can be based on, say for example, one particular incident that is actually happening right now. Say for example, people are arguing on the 2G scam and the CWC scam. Fair enough. Controversial is again talking about one controversial thing and asking everyone who is participating to actually give their viewpoints and put their clarity forth. Next is abstract, giving them an impromptu situation and seeing how that person reacts to in that particular situation. And last but not the least is the case study, in which a case has happened before, there has been a situation before, and the situation was handled in this way, but the interviewer or the panel wants to see that how would rest of them or the other 12 candidates sitting in front would react to that situation or that case, or what is your call on it. Now, the parts of a group discussion round. A is the chaos period. That's when everybody comes in, you're like struggling for seat, you're looking at everybody in the room, you're like, well, do I know this guy, do I know this girl, do I know this guy, do I know this girl? That's your basic chaos period. Where do I sit, what am I going to be asked, why am I nervous, am I fully prepared, am I going to be bombarded with questions, or if I'm standing in a group of 10 people, are all 9 of them going to talk against me? If they are they going to have more valid points than what I have? And so on and so forth happens in the chaos period. Next, is the generating ideas. This is the time frame which lasts about 10 to 12 minutes, and in these 10 to 12 minutes, you're given your topic, you're given some time to actually think about it, make notes of it, probably make notes with pen and paper or make mental notes about it, support one particular topic, make your thought process complete, make sure that you know what you're talking is right, and then start talking. The next phase is called building on ideas, which is about an 8 to 10 minute session. Building on ideas is now you made a mental note of it. After making mental note of it, you've started talking on it. They have people who've said a lot of things and you've said a lot of things on it. Now there is a time where you have to start building upon ideas. Say for example, you talk about a particular point and somebody else gives you a point which they feel is right. After which, what you are going to do is going to keep into consideration your point and keep into consideration the other person's point, and then make another point out of it, which is you're generating a better idea. That is just generating ideas. So listening to people from left, listening to people from right, and then generating your own thought process. Last to conclude it is the conclusion period, which is lasting about 1 to 3 minutes, in which you will conclude what you've said, you will conclude what the opposite person said, what is the solution to it, if there is a solution to it, what is it that cannot be derived as a solution to it, and closing the entire conversation by thanking the interviewer. Next, what I'm going to come to is a very, very, very important aspect of group discussion. A, what you do, and B, what you don't do in a group discussion. Let's see what are the do's and the don'ts in a group discussion. Very important. You have to remain very, very active. Not that you have to be overactive and jump around and stand and abuse people or shout at them and say, hey, what you're doing is wrong and what you're saying is utter rubbish, so I am not going to listen to you. That's not right, because a group discussion is meant to see how you communicate and what your thought process is. And if you stand there and if you're that aggressive or you're over aggressive than you're what's required to be, then you have very big chances of getting yourself necked out in the entire bargain. Next, address to all and not a single person. Like the terminology says, group discussion and not one-to-one discussion. Group discussions are done when there's an entire group standing. You'll never talk, when you talk to a friend, you never say we were discussing in a group. When you sit in a circle of friends and you talk, that's when you say you had a group discussion. You discussed in the group and we came to a solution or a conclusion. Again, same situation here. Make sure that you talk to everybody who is a part of that conversation, including someone who does not agree to your viewpoint and the jury or the panel who's sitting in front of you. Next, when you begin for the first time to talk, make sure you introduce yourself. Just a very basic introduction saying, I would like to this, my name is this, and I would like to support XYZ point. What it helps you in is it helps the interviewer to know A, your name, and B, that this person or this candidate is actually showing interest in the conversation. And if you give a very good point, that interviewer is going to remember you as somebody who gave a very valid point about a particular thing on which not a lot of people agreed. Next, say that you probably agree with A or B. Do not shuffle between your thoughts. Do not first sit there and say, hi, my name is XYZ and I support A. And then you come up and say, no, you know what, I think B was right. And then again raise your hand and then say, no, I think I just made a blunder, So can I again stick to A? No. All that it is showing you as yourself and all that it is projecting you as an individual is that I do not have a clear thought process. So make sure that when you select a point, you look at its pros and its cons and you know what you're talking about, regardless of the fact that there are, out of those 10 people, there are about 10 of them who are talking, and out of in that entire group, 9 of them are only talking about point B, but you're talking about point A. And if you're talking about point A, make sure that you only stick to point A. Do not feel neglected that, oh, all these 9 people are talking about point B, so am I foolish to actually talk about point A? No, you are not. In a group discussion, you are only putting forward your point. So make sure when you talk to people about something that you do not agree on, you're confident about it. Do not just get necked out by 9 people saying that what you're saying is wrong. Always remember, you are not wrong. It is your mindset and the way you look at that particular situation at that particular point of time. Why will you look at that situation that way, or why will someone else look at that situation in another way at that same given point of time in the same room in the front of the same panel? The biggest reason being that you have grown up in a different way. The other person's grown up in a different way. You had different experiences in life. The other person's had different experiences in life. You have probably had more good experiences and less bad experiences. Someone else would probably had more of bad experiences and less of good experiences. Somebody else would probably has been in the situation before this situation has come, and he or she has handled the same situation in a different way. And since it is very human for us to actually try and get ourselves out of a troublesome situation, what people tend to do is not look at different aspects or different solutions to it, but just to get out of that situation at the moment, they will only recollect only one situation that they were in and how did they solve the problem. Whereas you as an individual will have to think about a lot of different things, a lot of things out of the box, and a lot of different experiences that you've gone through to actually stand out amongst those other 10 people who are sitting with you for the group discussion round. Next, remember, it is not an argument, it is a discussion. And they sit, they introduce themselves really well, they're well groomed, they're well dressed, they're clean shaven, good communication, but for some matter of facts, they stand up and start fighting. They start arguing, they're like, you are wrong, you cannot say this, this is not right, this is unethical, whatever be it. Remember, it is the other person's view, not yours. He is not dependent on you to support you for any reason. He or she is trying his or her level best to actually get through that round by proving himself or herself a little better and showing that this is what my thought process is. So make sure you do not behave as if you've gone on a TV show where you have to have a group discussion round in which you have to argue so much that unless and until you fight, you cannot prove superiority. Especially on sensitive topics like education or being sexist or being biased about both the sexes. Be very, very careful on such topics. Coming to don'ts. Don't be aggressive. Like I've just told you before, do not be aggressive about the fact that somebody else is talking against you or saying a point which you do not agree to. If he or she does not agree to that point, always remember you also are not agreeing to what that opposite person is saying. So you don't need to be aggressive about it. Yes, a very certain percentage of aggression is very important, which shows a little strength in your voice and your ability to actually talk to people very confidently. But excessive aggressiveness is going to work only against you. It does not prove a point that I am extra smart, or since I am loud than everybody else here, I am going to be heard. Whereas you'd probably be told that, you know what, I think you should calm down, sit down, relax, take a deep breath, and do not trouble anybody else. So make sure when you talk, do not be very aggressive or very harsh. Next, like I've told you before, avoid one-to-one discussions. Do not talk to people within yourself. Do not just talk to your neighbor and say, you know what, I think this is right. You know what, I think this is right. Try not to do that. In fact, it is a complete no-no, because you're here to talk in a group. Next, don't rush on to a conclusion. What happens is, somebody said one point, and then the other person said another point, and then you look at these 2 points and you're like, oh, I know 2 points which are totally against these 2, which basically shows that I am restricting my thought process and I am restricting my own self by looking at only these 2 points and then not thinking beyond these points and speaking something which is not in their favor, just to oppose them or to show that since this is a group discussion round, I will talk against everybody else who's talking. So what happens is, you end up going to them, towards them or talking with them in a conclusive manner, which means, say for example, there is a boy A and your name is B. If A says that point number 1, point number 2 and point number 3 is what he believes is right, you as a person will be like, oh, he's got point 1, 2, 3. I also have point 1, 2, 3 to say against him, and I know this is right, so I'm going to stand there. But after you say these 3 points, you realize that you have nothing else to say, and you'd probably have 3 more points which actually could support A than not supporting A in that answer. So make sure you do not run into a conclusion, because that is again going to be against you and will not give you a lot of opportunity to talk. Next, avoid regional languages. It is a complete no-no. Of course, there are a few words, or say the topic has that word in it, agree to it with due respects to all the language. Make sure that you speak in English. If the need arises, if they give you a topic like this, then yes, you can talk. Say for example, they talk about a topic which is related to it, then yes, but not in any other way. Do not stand there and start blabbering in Hindi or English, in Hindi or Marathi, or with due respects to all other regional languages, but make sure you only stick to English. Alright? Do not interrupt abruptly. Like, do not just stop somebody and saying, hey, what you're saying is wrong, keep quiet, I need to talk because I just remembered a point. It's not good. What happens is, this shows that if you are asked to work in a team of about 10 people, you are not going to give anybody an opportunity to actually talk. You will tell them that this is what is happening and this is what you're not supposed to do, so you please shut up and sit aside. When you talk in a team, it is very, very important for you guys to make sure that you listen to everybody. Especially if you are leading a team, it's very, very important for you to listen to all your team members, look at the pros and cons of what everybody is saying, pick up important points, and then come to a conclusion. Hence, make sure you do not interrupt people abruptly. Also, when the interviewer is watching you, interrupting somebody abruptly, it just shows that you're trying to dominate somebody and you're not ready to listen. Also in your body language, when a lot of people are not agreeing to someone, will actually sit like this, which is a very closed position, because it shows that I am not open to change and neither am I open to listening to what you're saying, which basically means that I will not listen to what you're saying. Simple language. Next, profanity is a complete no-no. Make sure that you keep all your beep, 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 beep outside the room. Very, very important. Because if you start using profanity, you are not even going to be entertained in the room. They won't even let you stand inside the room, which is very, very, very bad on your impression. Say for example, now you talk like this and you get rejected, of course. Say after a few months or after a year, you come back to the same company to apply and you have the same training manager who sits on the panel, and if you have the same HR manager sitting there and one of them remembers you as this guy who used profanity or this girl who used profanity, they won't even let you enter the room because they know this is what you've been doing. Make sure, because it is a very, very small world. You never know where you might just bump into somebody. So make sure you do not use profanity. Next, don't shout. You are not there to shout and nobody is going to hear you just because you shouted. It's very important for you to put across your point, which is correct. But if you can say it subtly with a little aggression, again, a little aggression just means that very little aggression in which, you put across a point as somebody confident, somebody who knows what you're talking about, somebody who knows that this is my thought process and these are the points that I'm going to talk about. Then you can prove yourself, not by shouting. Make sure you do not shout, because if you shout, what's going to happen is everyone is going to listen to you. They'll be like, oh really? Alright, fine. Done shouting? Happy? You mind sitting down? Can we talk? That's what's going to happen to you. Next, what I'm going to talk to you is about the points that are marked in a group discussion. That is, what does the interviewer look in the candidate for in the group discussion round? Right? First and foremost, they look at the clarity of thought. Like I've said before, what happens is when you talk about a particular point and you keep talking about the same point again and again on different levels, and you have new ideas that you're generating every time, it shows that how clear you are in your thought process and how certain you are about what your content is. It's very important for you to be very clear when you talk to them. Which brings me to my second point, which is tone of voice and speech. Your tone of voice should not be too high and not be too soft. Don't make it very, very soft, because then nobody is going to understand what you say. Also, your speech, make sure you don't fumble in your mouth, or you don't run really fast when you talk, or you're not very, very slow. Because what happens is, at a lot of times I've seen that a lot of candidates who get nervous have very good thought process, but just because they're very nervous about the entire situation, they want to just talk it out and finish it ASAP. So for example, if I tell them that I want you to decide whether the Indian education system is good or is not good, for example, this guy who knows a lot about the education system, say he wants to put across a point that yes, the Indian education system is very good because a lot of MNCs want Indians to come and work for them, which actually shows that the Indian education system supports universal education and there is a lot of brain drain, which is again Indians being taken by multinational companies. So this gentleman who has very good thought process will be Yes, I believe that the Indian third is very good, but you see a lot of MNCs coming and picking them up. That is one reason you see a lot of brain and education going from India, because I believe India is good. You see the pace that they talk with, all they wanted to say is what I said before. But he said the same thing so fast that everyone here in the room was, what you said was good, but you mind repeating yourself? That's what the situation is going to be, you know. And if somebody throws a question like you there, you are again bound to get a little more nervous about the entire situation. You will be very nervous, you will be, you will not be as confident, even if you have such good content to talk on, you have such good clarity of thought. Next, they look at good communication skills. Make sure that you read at least the newspaper every day in the morning or in the night, with keeping into consideration what language you want to develop. If you want to develop lingo language, please read page 3, please read masala newspapers, but make sure if you want to develop good content can only be developed with papers like Economic Times or magazines like India Today. Or if you are not really fond of reading newspapers, try indulge yourself into reading activities like reading fiction or reading anything that you want to that gives you good vocabulary. Because if you stand there and if you are asked to introduce yourself before you start talking, do not make the mistake of saying, my name is XYZ and I am this boy. Please don't say that, because it is going to put a very bad impression about yourself. Next, what else does the company want to see as an individual in you or as a prospective employee or a candidate in you is your pressure handling skills. In a lot of situations, what happens is a lot of interviewers throw random questions on the candidate, because of which what happens is the candidate gets pressurized and he or she is not prepared for that question. And since you are not prepared for that question, it becomes very difficult for you to answer it. And what will happen is you will probably fumble, or you will be like stammer, or you will be like zero thought process, So a lot of things can happen when you are under pressure. And this is actually deliberately done so that the company gets to know whether really are you suitable to handle pressure for their company. Will you be able to stand up for your own self and talk for your own self or no? Next, like I've said before and I'll say it again, your ability to work in a team. Say for example, XYZ has set a point and you do not agree to that point. What is going to happen to you is that it's not showing that what you think is wrong or what he thinks is right, or what he thinks is right and you think is wrong. What is going to show is you are not ready to accept what people are saying. When he is saying something and you interrupt and do not listen to everybody else, it only shows that you are not ready to listen to what everybody wants to say. So again, coming back to what my example was before, when you are working in a team and if you are given the opportunity to actually lead the team and you do not listen to anybody and you do what you want to, all that is going to happen to you is you are going to be looked upon as somebody who does not listen to his team or her team. So make sure that you listen to everybody and then react to that situation. Also, what is going to happen in that situation is, if you listen to everybody, you will have more points to talk on. Probably you said, say 6 points and you are very happy with those 6 points. But imagine if there are another 2 people who have said another 4 points. you are getting 4 more points to think about, brainstorm and put 4 more different points ahead, which is very good. And these 4 points would probably give you brownie points to act in front of the interviewer. So make sure you listen to people very carefully, which will help you not only to judge you on your ability to work in a team, but also to get you brownie points on your content. Very important. Next, what they look at is your ability to make decisions. If you cannot stand for yourself and you cannot make your own decisions, then it is very important, then it is not going to be possible for you to actually address an entire team or address your co-workers or your colleagues when you start working. It actually shows that you're still dependent on mommy dearest to actually make small decisions. Decisions like, should I say this point or should I not say this point? If I say this point, will I have any problems? Will there be any repercussions? Will I have to pay for that? No, you have to decide on your own self. Your mommy dearest is not going to come there in office for you to decide whether this is the right step or this is not the right step. So you have to make sure that you decide on your own. Next, your audibility. With your tone of voice and your speech and your ability to talk comes your audibility. If you're too loud, you're going to be harsh. And if you're very soft, you're going to be so soft that nobody is going to even remember you as a candidate. Very important. You have to be there, speak yourself, speak your mind, but not project yourself as someone who is extremely harsh. So, good audibility is a very important factor. Next, your analytical power. They will see how you analyze things and situations that you've been put into. You remember the 4 types of GDs that we spoke about, case studies and so on and so forth. They will want to see that how you react in that situation if you are randomly put into one. Or say for example, in a case study situation, how would you actually look into that case study in a different way? If you're given a factual situation, how would you actually relate yourself to the factual situation and derive a conclusion for the factual situation? If it's controversial, they'll see how you're actually dealing with that controversy and talking about it. If it's abstract, they will see how out of the box you think and how wonderful are your ideas that can actually be generated by the company. Last but not the least, they look on to is your content. Your ability to make decisions, your analytical power, your clarity of thought, your ability to handle pressure, ability to work in a team or work with a team, everything sums up to be your content. Like before, very important, have clarity of thought. When you are clear in your thoughts, when you know what you're talking about, when you're making the right decisions, when you have good analytical power, you're good and audible, you have a good tone of voice, you are good with your communication, you're handling the right amount of pressure in the right way, you're taking a good decision, then it shows that yes, when I talk content, my content speaks volume about me and my content speaks sense. So make sure that your content is very important and very well said and well written. Speaking about content that I just said, it is very important for you to know your content right. Like for example, if you are given a very abstract topic, then it's very important for you to know what that topic is, look at it at the pros and the cons of the topic and talk about it. This is called content development. Now, how do you develop your content? Like I've said before, by reading and enhancing your vocabulary. Not that you need to throw very heavy and hi-fi words in it, but it's very important for you to actually talk about lot of examples, have a better content, talk about current affairs, give current affair examples, a lot of things, talk about something that you've read before. That's how you can actually enhance your content. What I'm going to talk about is now the tips on effective group discussion. We've seen what the interviewers or the panel is looking for. Now I'm going to talk about how do you deliver what content you have and what they are looking for. See, it's a very, very simple process. It's like selling things. I want this and you have this. Is it the same thing? Yes, it is. I will buy it. I want this. You have that. Is it the same thing? No, I will not buy it. So what it basically shows is that I have the content and I have the content for you, but I am going to present it in such a way that you like it so much that you're going to buy the content from me. And as an interviewer, what they look at you as, this is my company requirement and this is what you do. Are these things matching? Yes, come to my company. Are these things not matching? No, don't come to my company. Simple. That is all that they're looking out for. So next, what I'm talking about, tips on effective GD. A, be aware of current affairs. As an interviewer, current affairs is the most easiest thing an interviewer can ask you to talk about. Why? Because the interviewer himself or herself is always aware about such facts. B, it's very easy to judge people, because what happens is, A, there will be a lot of people who know about it and there will be a lot of people who don't know about it. There will be nobody in the middle. There will be a few of them who will be like, yes, I have heard of it. Nobody will be, oh, I know everything, and nobody will be like, oh, this is what I know, but I don't know this. No, there will be a lot of people who know about it and a lot of people who don't know about it. So make sure you know your current affairs very well. Also, what happens is, when you're talking about current affairs, it is a very easy topic to give. See, you basically spend about, say, a good 18-20 minutes in the interview room with your interviewer. In 20 minutes, that guy or that lady sitting there on the panel has to judge 20 of yours and select about 4 amongst y'all and make sure that what she's doing is correct. So she gives a very simple topic where she is very comfortable about. And current affairs is the most easiest topic. And especially with what's happening in the country right now, what happens is, especially with so many movies coming out, so many songs coming out, so many international artists coming out, having so many new clubs coming, pubs coming, discotheques and so on and so forth, a lot of times it becomes very obvious that these students are not interested in current affairs. So then they will actually pick people who they think have good content knowledge. Straight. Next, like I've told you before, your content knowledge is very, very important, but it's just not important for that day. It is very important for you to keep that content knowledge in your brain. What happens there? You have to revise your content knowledge beforehand when you talk. Say for example, when you are talking about CWG, you have to continuously brush on that knowledge, get access information, surf the net, not just use the internet for social networking sites or to download music or to download movies or whatever, but make use of these sites for a lot of extra knowledge purpose. Not that just sit on them and just keep reading everything that you get, but yes, things that you think are very interesting and important, yes, they'll make a lot of difference to you. One simple tip and my best friend and something that I love is Google. You will get every possible thing on this. In fact, you even get people on this. I'm being very serious. One fine day I was sitting and I just wanted to know how many EFGs are in this world, and I went on to google.com and then it opened up and then I just went EFG, that's it, and his or her last name, and I hit enter. I got all the EFGs in the planet, which is very, very good. If I can get so many things on the planet, it's going to be so very good. So make sure, if you want to know about current affairs, if you want to know about what's happening, brushing your knowledge, getting to know more things, Google is your key. Make sure you brush up your knowledge on it. Next, when you're in the session, collect enough reasoning to support your view. What happens is, when you're supporting your view, you're supposed to have good enough of reasons, or you got to support it in a very strong way. If you say that I support this, I just say this point and you're sitting down, but why do you support your point? Neither is the interviewer aware, neither is somebody opposite to you is aware, and neither are you aware about it. It basically shows that you spoke for the heck of talking and not because you really knew what your content was like, which is again a very bad thing on your part, to show that I am not revised or I do not have enough reasoning to talk. Next, again and again, remember, not an argument, only a discussion. Please talk like a discussion. Don't fight. It is not going to do anything good to you, because this will only help you lose out on brownie points, lose out on scores, lose out on the impression that you've created. Probably you're very well dressed, you're very well groomed, clean shaven, good suit, good tie, prim and proper, you're there for it, polished shoes, you speak well, but when you stand up, you speak well, but you do not speak in the required way. You're shouting, you're fighting. It's this thing that, oh, I've had a very bad night the previous night, so I'm going to remove all my frustration on this, so that's why I'm shouting. Or I had a fight with my girlfriend, so this is how I'm going to react to it. Oh, my dad said something to me and I couldn't say anything back to my dad, so I'm going to argue with you guys to make sure that I am also correct and not just he. Right? So make sure you remember this point, very, very important. It is not an argument but a discussion, and keep it like a discussion. Next, keep a pen and paper at hand, very, very important. When you go for a group discussion round, you will see that a lot of times they'll give you a topic to talk on, they'll ask you to have your 2 viewpoints, and they will actually tell you to make points, make mental notes, make whatever. What you got to do is just keep a pen and paper at hand and just quickly make your notes, make bulletins, make points, because then when you have those bulletins in hand, you know what you have to talk. You will not miss out on points. Mental note, everybody is a human being, so make sure that these mental notes don't get erased. And mark my word, in such pressure situations where there are 10 people talking against you, you will forget one mental note. So make sure that when you talk, it is very, very important that you talk with your bulletin in front of you. It is not wrong to talk with bulletins. It is perfectly alright. It's tried and tested time and again, and I have done this. I have done this so many times in my own group discussion round when I was a student, or when I was a candidate, when I used to go and attend trainings, or when I wanted a job, I used to go and talk. Group discussions, I've made sure I've made my bulletins, which is very, very important. It gives me my content to talk on, like we spoke about enough reasoning. I make a bulletin and then I look at that bulletin and then I make my own reasoning that why do I support that bulletin. Again, my next bulletin, do I support it? Do I not support it? If yes, why do I support it? Also, the paper and pen at hand helps you by making notes of what the opposite person is saying. Say for example, I say something and B says something else. I write down what B is saying so that I can make another bulletin to actually talk on what B is saying and give him another point against it. Again, shows that I am more inquisitive to know about what he is saying, and I am more into it as a part of the entire conversation. Next, what I'm going to talk about is a very important topic that a lot of people get scared of. Taking a start or taking lead, taking initiative. What happens is, when we go into a group discussion room or the place where you're going, looking at the ambience, you're like, oh my goodness, am I entering a room full of dinosaurs, or are there going to be people with swords? Is there going to be a lot of gun armor kept? Am I going to be blown off or something? No, it is not that. It's very, very important for you to realize that what you're going there for and who you're going to meet there can probably be your next job or your next employer. So make sure you're not scared of getting in there. What is the most that can happen when you enter the room? A, you will get the job. B, you will not get the job. Simple. That is all that is going to happen when you enter the room. Unless you create a havoc out of itself, or you start getting scared, you start fumbling, you start nagging out in the entire bargain. Of course, different things. But if you want to stand out in amongst the other 20 odd people who've come with you, it's very important for you to make sure that you start taking an initiative yourself. Now, how do you do that? Say for example, when you get a point, you make your notes, you make your bulletins, you have your reasoning ready, you have your content ready, you have enough points to support what you are saying, everyone else is ready to talk, and the interviewer says that I want somebody to start. Make sure you raise your hand, introduce yourself and start talking, because that is very, very important. When you start talking, it shows that yes, this guy or this girl is very, very confident of what they are saying, and that is one reason they have personally taken an initiative to start an entire conversation. It helps you to get those brownie points that I keep talking about, which is very, very good for you. Probably these brownie points will help you in a state where there is only one place available to go in the next round. Is it you, or is it the other guy, or is it you, the other girl, and you've taken initiative and you have a few more brownie points? It's going to be you. It's not going to be that guy who's there, it's going to be you. Why? Because you took an initiative. You got better points to talk on. You started the conversation. Next, like I mentioned before, you make notes of what you are saying and making notes of what others are saying. Make notes of what other people say. Why? Helps you increase your content. Helps you increase your knowledge. It helps you score brownie points on what exactly you want to say. It helps you decide on what is your next trump card gonna be, that will help you actually tell that person that, you know what you're saying is correct, but what I am saying is this. It will give you a better high, like it just puts you another level. You know, when you talk about something that's really classy, and when you talk nobody's actually thought about, you just go on cloud number 9 because you actually spoken such amazing content. Next, do not shuffle between your thoughts. If you're clear in your content, if you know what you're talking about, if you have enough reasoning, if you're sensible enough, if you've revised everything, if you've done your homework before, if you've studied your current affairs, you will not shuffle in your thoughts because you know what you want to talk about. But if you have not done anything of this, and if you just come there to have fun, then you're going to be in serious trouble by shuffling between your thoughts. Say point A or point B or point A, should I say this, should I not say this, should I support this one, should I not support this one. Always remember, in a group discussion round, you probably must be with 10 of your best buddies, but remember, none of them is your buddy in the group discussion round. Do not support everybody because, oh, we are friends, everyone's friends here, we are all friends have come for an interview. Nobody is buying that. Everyone there has one intention: getting through the next round, getting the job, nagging everybody out, and you being superior. That is all that everybody's intention is. Nobody is going to come and stand there and ask that, if given an opportunity, will you give this job to your friend? Why? Friends, friendship, hanging out, best friends, movies, everything restricted to the college canteen and college days. It is not going to be the same gaga fun with friends when you come for a round. So make sure you are at least an inch above everybody else. I'm not saying an inch is height wise inch, but content wise. You got to be very, very smart with your content. Next, stick to one opinion. Like I've said before, don't shuffle between your thoughts. Stick to your content and stick to only one opinion. Support one point. It shows clarity of thought that I've said before. It just projects you as somebody who's very sorted in the brain and not somebody who's so confused that does not know anybody about anything about anybody. Next, I mentioned before, listen. What will help? Making notes. You can hear people and you can listen to people. Difference. Hearing, he said something, I heard you, how fine gone, came from here, went from there, fantastic, great job. Listening, what you came here, didn't go out, went straight here to the brain. What is going to happen? Help you improve content, help you improve points, help you to get brownie points, make you a little better than the best. Make sure you listen. Again, in a group discussion round, do not be hesitant or reluctant to ask questions. For example, one of your colleague who does not agree or disagrees to what you are saying is saying a statement. If you think that statement is not right, or if you are not supporting that statement, do not be hesitant to ask that person, why do you think this? Probably that person is just saying it for the heck of saying it and just saying it because, oh, this is what it is, I have my point here. But say for example, that guy does not know anything and he's just said that, and you catch that and you just put a question across to him and you say, why did you say that? And he's just said the statement and now he has no words to actually explain why. What is going to show is you have a logical reasoning, you have good reasoning to it, you have good content to it, you have enough answers to support what you're saying, and he just said it for the heck of saying it. Always remember, ask questions, very important and is not a wrong thing to do. Next, respect what the opposite person's viewpoints are. Very important. If you respect somebody else's thoughts, they'll respect you. Do not, like I've told you before, do not interrupt people, is again respecting somebody else's points. If the group discussion is going to another different level, when you're talking about the male female thing, or you're talking about anything that is to do with religion or something, please use terminologies, I totally agree to what you say, or probably terms like I agree to what you say to an extent, but this is what I feel, or terms like with due respects to what you're saying, which is very, very good, but this is what I mean to say. I'm sorry to interrupt you, with no offenses, but this is what I feel. These are terms you should use so that people find it nice. Next, do not show personal emotions. Just because you've spoken about a topic that you had a bad time with does not make you somebody, inferior. Just because you can relate to a topic on an emotional note does not mean you have to get it out in the emotional note and start blabbering in front of people about emotions. Do not show personal emotions. Also, especially with girls, say for example, you're sitting in the entire group with 3 of your best friends, and all 3 of your best friends are supporting point A in a group discussion, whereas you are supporting point B. Do not get emotions here and go out of the room saying, my best friend didn't support me, I'm not going to talk to my friends, they did not have this, they did not help me, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. No, have your own set of mind. Make sure you keep your personal and your professional relationships out. Do not mix them. When you're in the room to give that interview, make sure that you're only professional. Your friends can be your worst competitors, and trust my words, it's happened to me before. My bestest friends have been my toughest competitors, my bestest of friends. So it's very, very important. Make sure that you actually know your content right, so that if one fine day somebody asks you that what do you think, Would you give the job to your best friend? No way. Are you crazy? You worked hard for it, man. Go give it. Take it for yourself. Give your best shot and take it away. Take that job from them, which is very important. Next, you got to be very logical. You cannot have random reasonings for things that you're talking about. Like say for example, you're talking about the education system and then you suddenly get politics in the middle and you cannot relate to it. Yes, of course, if you get politics and you relate to it, very well said, because then you're talking about a lot of things at the same time. But if you cannot relate to things, then you're going to be there, oh, because this is there, and then you'll be like, that's all. That's all you're going to do. So make sure you're very logical when you talk to people. Next, welcome feedback. If somebody tells you that, Abhijit, this is the way you should have done this, I would appreciate that and say thank you, and the next time you give a group discussion interview, make sure you make use of it. Very, very important. Especially there are a lot of times what happens is the interviewers tend to like you a lot, and when you talk to them, you get the job or something, or when in the last round when they know that yes, we can finalize you as a good candidate, they will look up to you and they'll be like, alright, he's a good candidate, but Abhijit, the next time yes, I am giving you the job, but the next time you happen to speak, make sure that these are A, B, C and D points that you're supposed to keep into mind when you talk. So always welcome feedback. Last but not the least is when you close the entire group discussion, summarize the discussion, and by taking a lead again, it shows that you are not just a good initiator, but you are a good concluder also. What happens at work from personal experiences, there are a lot of times when you actually talk, you initiate a particular project, but then you are not exactly working towards the growth of the project or developing the project. And since you are not developing the project, it's not going ahead, and since it's not going ahead, there is no conclusion or end to that particular project, which is again a very unlikely or not a very good thing or a very unhappy thing to happen. This shows that you are a good initiator. With due respects, you have brilliant ideas coming in, but then you have to make sure you enhance those ideas, work on them, and then close it. The same way in a group discussion, when you talk, make sure that you not just take initiative in opening it, but if given an opportunity, try and close it, because you remember we spoke about making points, making notes of what people say. You have all your content in place, and then you are in a situation to actually talk it out and say that these were the points I spoke about, these were the points he spoke about, and these were the points we missed out on. Next, what I'm going to talk about is the 6 P's of good group discussion. 6 P's, very easy to remember. Keep in mind these points and you're golden. Always. A. Preparation. Prepare yourself for the group discussion round. Like I've always mentioned before, your content, you know what you're saying, your current affairs, everything. Also, preparation means your grooming. If you groom well, it makes a lot of impression. What happens is when you're wearing a good polished, when you're wearing polished shoes, when you're wearing a good ironed shirt, a good crisp tie, a very basic black trouser, it makes a lot of difference. It just shows that you are interested in applying for this job, or you're interested in getting into the MBA school, and so on and so forth. Also, for boys, it's very important to clean shave and go. Please don't have such small beards here, or please do not have long side locks, spiked hair, fancy belt buckles, fancy leather shoes. Make sure you have simple leather shoes. Very important. With girls, no rib stockings. If you're not comfortable wearing a sari, make sure you wear a skirt. Light makeup, nothing loud. No black and dark red nail polishes, and not fancy hairstyles. No extensions with multicolors. Don't look like parrots and go there, because you're going to go there for an interview and not for a fashion show. Very, very important. So, as a part of the preparation, keep your grooming into consideration. Next, your participation. Very important. like I've said before, it's very important for you to participate in the entire group discussion round by initiating, talking, giving your viewpoints, talking about different aspects, talking about different tangents to it. If it's situational based, giving a lot of different variety of situational answers to it, and so on and so forth. Next, a proper sequence of thought. Have you ever seen a movie that has the climax in the beginning, fun in the middle, songs in the end? No, people aren't going to watch that. Exactly. So have a sequence the way it has to be. Have a good beginning, talk about it, and then end it properly. So you initiate your topic, you build on your content, and then you close it, which is very, very important. Next, personality. Your personality is not again restricted to your grooming, but your physical gestures. Do not sit like this, or do not open your button with your hands behind, or you're standing there and going, what's up, how's it going, or terminologies like, yo, I agree to you. Very important, ya is American slang. Just because you're trying to show that you're really smart enough, do not use ya. It is American slang. Use yes. When somebody asks you something, or if somebody calls you, do not hesitate to say yes please. Very simple, yes please. Not going to make you a small person, but it's going to just show you how graceful you are in accepting what people are saying. Get it? So make sure you talk like that. Also, your personality also denotes how you talk. When you talk to somebody, make sure that when you point out your hands straight. Like say for example, I want to talk to somebody standing here. I would probably say I agree to what you say, not that I agree to what you say and not agree to what you say and you go home and you're not here to actually fight. So make sure you address somebody. When you show all your four fingers to them, it shows that you're very soft spoken and you respect the opposite person's feelings, the opposite person's ideas, what idea he's putting across, his thought process. Fair enough? Next is a proper conclusion. Don't suddenly start off by saying I believe in this. Yes, very good. Your content you built on, very good, and then you shut up. And you're like, and I'm like, Abhijit, what? Finish. Okay. It shows that you are not ready to end things. Like I mentioned before, like I've said before, clarity of thought and content and closing it right is very, very important. What is it going to show? That you are a good initiator, you are increasing your content, but you cannot conclude. You're not somebody who's good at it. So make sure that you have a proper conclusion. Next, what I'm going to talk about is the session summary. What did we quickly run through? How to prepare yourself. We did all the points on how to prepare ourselves. We did what is group discussion round. We did how to prepare ourselves. We looked at the topics. We looked at parts of GD. We looked at you looked at factual, conversational, abstract and case studies. Then we looked at the do's and the don'ts in a group discussion round about remaining active and not addressing to a single person, staying with one point, remembering it's not an argument, not being aggressive, not rushing on conclusions, avoiding slang language, avoiding loud noise, talking loudly, avoiding regional languages. Then we came on to points that people look for in a group discussion. There was clarity of thought, tone of voice, your speech, your communication, your ability to handle pressure, your team working abilities, ability to make decisions, how audible you are you very loud, are you very soft, your analytical power, what is your logical reasoning, and how well you develop your content. After content development, we came across on tips on how to have a good GD round or how to perform well in a group discussion. Being aware about your current affairs, knowing your content correctly, enough reasonings to support what you're saying, remembering again that it's a discussion, not an argument, keeping a pen and paper at hand, taking a lead to start discussion, making notes of what people say, Then we came to not shuffling between our thoughts, sticking to one opinion and not shuffling again because it shows how unclear you are in your own thought process. Then listening to what people are saying, the difference between hearing people and listening to what people are saying. Then asking questions to people on relevance. Then the next slide that we spoke on was respecting other person's viewpoints and talking to them in a particular voice and tone and language that they do not feel offended. Next, not showing personal emotions of my best friend trying to nag me out in the discussion, or why did my friend talk about this point when I was talking about point A. Then again being logical, welcoming feedbacks about what people are telling you about it, and taking lead and summarizing the entire conversation. Next, the last thing that we spoke about was the 6 P's of good group discussion, being preparation on how you prepare your content, yourself, your current affairs, and so on and so forth. Next came your participation skills, how do you participate. Then your presence of mind, very very important, because if you are not present there mentally, you are just going to make a fool out of yourself. What's going to happen in presence of mind is, if you are not there, and if somebody asks you a question and you're like, oh no, oh yes, what did you say? You know, it just shows that you're just so lost in your own world that you're not mentally present there. Fair? Next, your proper sequence of thought, your personality, which again is your physical gesture, your postures, the way you point to people, not like this but like this, very important, and concluding your entire group discussion in a very proper way. With this, I end my session and wish you all the best for all your GDs, and I hope you do really well in all your group discussions. Thank you.